What if the biggest financial mistake you'll ever make is one that feels completely normal? Not dramatic, not reckless, just ordinary, no warning signs, no red flags, no single moment where you pause and think, this is the decision that will quietly cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars over my lifetime. It doesn't feel like a mistake, it feels like adulthood. You went to school, you followed instructions, you passed exams, maybe you earned a degree, maybe even a master's. You were told directly or indirectly that if you worked hard, stayed consistent, and secured a stable job, things would eventually fall into place. Stability first, income second, comfort third. And for a while, they do. Your first paycheck feels validating. Your first apartment feels independent. Your first promotion feels like proof that the system works. But no one really explained how money behaves outside a textbook. No one showed you how income flows through your life, how small lifestyle upgrades multiply, how debt reshapes your psychology, how fixed expenses quietly reduce flexibility, how time magnifies either discipline or delay. So let's slow this down. Let's start with someone ordinary. Imagine Daniel. He's 27. He lives in Chicago or maybe Manchester or Toronto. The city doesn't really matter. The structure is similar across most developed economies. Daniel earns $62,000 a year. On paper, that sounds respectable. He's educated, employed, responsible. He did what he was told to do, but income on paper and income in reality are not the same thing. After federal taxes, state taxes, Social Security contributions, health insurance premiums, and payroll deductions, his monthly take-home pay is about $3,800. It feels stable. It feels like progress. Now let's quietly subtract rent for a modest one-bedroom apartment, $1,450, utilities and internet, $200, car payment, $420, car insurance, $160, gas, $150, groceries, $450, student loan payment, $350, phone, $80. Subscriptions, streaming, cloud storage, apps, gym membership, $120. We're at roughly $3,380. That leaves about $420 per month, and that's before dining out, before birthdays, before weddings, before replacing a laptop, before new tires, before medical deductibles, before flights home for the holidays, before. The I deserve this weekend after a stressful month. Daniel doesn't feel irresponsible. He's not buying designer watches, he's not flying first class, he's not gambling, he's not making reckless bets in the stock market. He's doing what most middle-class professionals would call normal life, and yet every month feels tight, not desperate, just tight. That subtle tightness is where financial literacy actually begins, not with stock tips, not with crypto speculation, not with day trading tutorials. It begins with understanding the structure you're living inside. Because the modern economic system isn't designed to make you financially independent, it's designed to make you financially functional, functional enough to earn, functional enough to consume, functional enough to borrow, functional enough to repeat the cycle. Think about what school trained you to do: memorize information, meet deadlines, perform under evaluation, follow structured paths. But it didn't teach you how taxes actually erode gross income in practice. It didn't show you how compound interest quietly punishes debt while rewarding patience. It didn't discuss how lifestyle inflation locks people into decades of financial pressure. It didn't explain how money influences identity. So most graduates leave school financially literate enough to earn money but not emotionally equipped to manage it. Now let's go back to Daniel. 2 years pass. He works hard. He earns a promotion. His salary increases from $62,000 to $72,000. That sounds significant. After taxes, it translates to roughly $500 more per month. This is where something subtle happens. Most people don't increase their savings by $500. They upgrade, not because they're foolish, because it feels reasonable. Daniel thinks, "I've earned this." He moves to a slightly nicer apartment, rent increases by $250. He trades in his reliable car for a newer model. Payment increases by $180. He travels more frequently, maybe another $150 per month on average when you smooth it out across the year. The raise disappears. On paper, he's progressing. In reality, his margin hasn't changed. Income growth without margin growth is an illusion of progress. And this is one of the most expensive psychological traps in modern life, because the system encourages identity-based consumption. When you earn more, you're subtly expected to live differently. You're no longer just Daniel, you're Daniel with a promotion. And Daniel with a promotion shouldn't live in the same building, shouldn't drive the same car, shouldn't book the cheapest flight, shouldn't hesitate before ordering the more expensive option on the menu. This pressure isn't stupidity, it's biology. Human beings evolved in tribes where status influenced survival. Higher status meant better access to resources, protection, and opportunities. Your brain is still wired to measure relative standing. But today, standing isn't measured by hunting skill or physical strength. It's measured by visible consumption. If your coworkers upgrade apartments, you feel slightly behind. If your friends post vacation photos from Italy, your local weekend feels smaller. If colleagues drive newer cars, yours feels older even if it works perfectly. Fine. Comparison doesn't feel optional, it feels automatic. But here's the quiet problem. Comparison operates monthly, while compound interest operates over decades, and decades always win. Let's examine the math calmly. Imagine Daniel had taken that extra $500 per month from his raise and invested it consistently. Assume a conservative long-term return of 7% annually, $500 per month for 25 years grows to approximately $380,000. Not because he's brilliant, not because he's lucky, but because time amplifies consistency. Now imagine he waits 10 years. Instead of investing from age 29 to 54, he starts at 39. He invests $500 per month for 15 years at the same 7%. He ends up with roughly $160,000. That 10-year delay costs him more than $200,000. Nothing dramatic happened. He didn't crash the stock market. He didn't make a catastrophic decision. He just lived normally. He upgraded gradually. He postponed investing until he felt more comfortable. And that's the part school never emphasized. Time matters more than intensity. You don't need extreme income. You need early margin. But margin requires discomfort. It requires resisting upgrades when you can technically afford them. It requires living slightly below what your peers consider appropriate. It requires tolerating that subtle feeling of "I could upgrade, but I won't." That's psychologically difficult, but financially powerful.